to our latest video.
We're back.
The Twin Flames, a New Earth series.
Yep.
Today we're going to be talking about art, media,
Entertainment,
music,
sports,
video games, all that stuff.
Entertainment, yeah.
So we got a new day, we got a new fire. I don't know if you can see behind Shalia, but I got fresh stacks of wood stacked high. And we're ready for the next set of the series.
Good for story time. No.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you have that nice, warm, cozy fire.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's really roaring and crackling.
It's perfect. It's fall time where we are, right? So
yeah.
It's nice to be cozy near a fire.
And our warm dog Charlie is napping ever so softly.
Yeah.
And we're here ready to tell you some stories and describe to you the new Earth that we're all stepping into as Harmonious Union becomes more and more common on the planet. And just a brief word about Harmonious Union. It's not for special people. It's not for the uber powerful spiritual people. And you'll see if you read the stories of our students who have achieved Harmonious Union. It's not even for lucky people. It's for people who have the desire in their heart, make the choice, and simply follow through. And all of the information and support that you could ever need, we have right here in our community with Twin Flames Universe available for you so that you can achieve your Harmonious Union too. It's simply a process that you go through, just like driving from one place to the next. You have the directions, you get in your car and you go, or you have the directions and you walk, or you take public transit, but you get there. You get from A to B every single time, and it's the same thing with Harmonious Union. So as we've solidified this process and this path into Harmonious Union, and everyone's experiencing the same exact thing.
So I had to move back because I got the pillow propped. So I'm sitting more forward than you. So you don't sit with a pillow propped on your bed.
No, I like it. We got these nice Twin Flames Universe merch pillows here. They're so quick, squishy and cozy.
They're really cozy. They're really nice.
Yeah, they're very nice quality.
I got the sweater on right now. Like love never fails.
Actually, this is. I'm not just doing this like. Let me be honest here. We don't really make any money off of the merchandise.
No, we make nothing really.
It's like,
But
we've got it because it's great, and we're telling you about it because it's great.
Yeah.
I love this shirt. I love my merch.
Yeah, I love it too.
It's some of the best clothing I own.
Yeah, the sweaters are really cozy. It's like the perfect cozy sweater.
They're nice.
Yeah, it's like really good quality, like not cheap stuff. It's really nice. Yeah, and I love having twin flame like energy on our clothes.
Amen.
It feels really nice.
Yeah, it does feel really good.
Yeah.
So people are finding that as they come into Harmonious Union, it sets the stage for a better life and a perfect life, because you get to share it with your twin flame. You're whole and you're complete. And from that state of being complete and being whole, you're happy, you're satisfied. You don't need to go get something outside of yourself. But you're always expanding into more and more love. Every part of your life is always getting better. And there's always room for better. There's always room for more love. There's always room for more growth. There's always room for more improvement. And as we have in the body of our work, at this point, achieved Harmonious Union for others and for you, we're delving deeper into these subjects that arise for the new Earth. So this video is about many subjects, media really, and I want to start by talking about music. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, let's do music.
When I was sitting down to do this video, a quote popped into my mind, and it was really it was a moment. That Mozart movie, they did like a biography of him in the 80s.
Amadeus. That's the name of the movie.
It's a really good movie of Mozart.
I think it was like in 1984.
I feel like they really captured the essence of who Mozart really was.
Yeah, a genius.
And he is having some trouble with other people involved in music, and the king, who didn't really understand music, but Mozart was a musical genius. And his rival had the king's ear, and was really jealous of the piece that Mozart had just finished, and it was Mozart's greatest work yet. And the king gets up to critique Mozart's perfect piece is perfect. And he said, oh, well, it was okay. And Mozart was, okay,
Stunned.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just stunned.
Okay, sire, just okay? Why wasn't it, why didn't you think it was great? He said, well, there was too many notes in it. And, Wolfgang Mozart responds with, too many notes, sire? Yes, too many notes. If you had less notes in it, it might have been better. And Mozart said, sire, which notes would you have me remove? For there are exactly as many notes in it as there needs to be.
Yeah.
There are not too many, and there are not too few. There are exactly as many. And the king, of course, couldn't answer because he didn't fucking know music like Mozart did. And this idea of perfection that Mozart was embodying in his music, this harmony, this balance, this perfection in his music, that's the sort of music that we'll begin to see in the new earth. Music that is perfect, that is divine.
Not necessarily classical music.
No. All types of music. Rap and even new classical and, pop music and country music and techno and electronic music and, rock music and...
All music.
Music we haven't even conceived of yet. All kinds of music.
Maybe country won't be so sad.
Maybe pop music won't be so
whiny,
boring and devoid of meaning and richness.
Yeah.
But if you could imagine that essence of music, and if you really know music, you really understand. You'll really hear me here. If you could imagine perfection behind your music, because if you turn on the radio, there's something very catchy about that pop music. Something, you just want to listen to it, but it gets old and dies, and maybe 10 years down the road, you're like, oh man, music used to be great. And you listen to that song a couple times, and you're like, that was great. And then you don't really listen to it
I just
anymore.
think it's very formulaic. And it's like, like one of the reasons why people love coffee is because the caffeine is in it. And I think that's the same with some of these pop songs. That catchy thing that makes it, I'm not like a music, like genius. Like I don't know music inside out, so I can't exactly say what it is.
You can all feel it.
But we can all feel it. It's very
something not that good about it. There's something devoid of real passion and devoid of real meaning and purpose. And I'm not saying that all music in all ways is this way. It's most certainly not. There's something great about music, and there's always been. But on the new earth, we'll move towards perfect music.
Yeah.
And everyone will know perfect music, whether it be the listener or the musicians, and they'll create perfect music. And the music will feel so divine and eternal, and you can listen to it, at any time throughout history. It will last forever.
And I wanted to say this about not just music, but like art in general, whatever area of art, all areas of art, including music, is, like in the new earth, like art and music isn't going to be created primarily, not all times, but primarily from like a place of pain
or sadness or anger or
suffering.
frustration. Right.
It's going to come from like divinity and like joy and love and like creativity itself. And I think like this is where like a lot of artists can get in a real bad loop in their life, is because they think in order to create they have to suffer in order for their art to have any kind of meaning, or their music to have any kind of meaning, or their acting to have any type of meaning. But it's just simply not true. Like art is derived from love.
If you could imagine every song on the radio that you listen to, or every song in every store that you step into in the mall, or anyone else's car you get into and you hear their music, it's all coming from a place of love and divinity. And that doesn't mean that music is going to be boring. In fact, quite the opposite.
It's going to be reinvigorated.
And
you'll want to dance again.
Yeah. That's beautifully put.
Yeah.
So we also wanted to talk about video games.
Sure,
We're actually personally involved in video games as well as music. We're developing our musical mechanics so we can be part of bringing true divine music to the new earth.
Yeah, it's fun.
And that will come in the coming years and decades. Right now we have a company called Divine Gaming Incorporated, and we have a small team working together to bring divine games to the new earth. And there's a difference between a game of today and a really like a game based on love. And the games of today, in some way, are all designed to take from you. In some way or another, all of the really good, I'm talking about rich, media video games. They're designed to take from you more than they give. In some way.
Right. I mean, this same idea we experience in like movies and TV shows and even books where like you fall in love with the characters and the story and you're invested in it. Think Game of Thrones.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
We spent 10 years of our life basically
Oh my god,
only to just be
find out
so disappointed.
It was building and it was clear the author didn't really know where it was going
or the writers
or how to get there.
Not like the author of the book. We haven't read the books.
Well, they collaborated with the author of the book.
I know. Yeah.
And it was very clear, they didn't follow a completely divine path. They didn't follow God's path for each character.
Right.
And they didn't follow the order of the universe for each character. And whether that character chose love or chose separation, it didn't matter. We would have seen it play out properly. But in movies and media today, the writers tend to try to take control of the story to make it interesting or give it pizzazz or to fall away from cliche. But they haven't really learned in general yet how to create a story that is divine and in perfect order with truth and with how reality actually works, rather than some sort of deformed, diluted reality, which is most of the media we get today. And I'm talking deep media. And there's there's shallower media. Like you can look at South Park, for example, and it's a cartoon of our day, and it's very it's humorous and a little vulgar. It's an adult cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and it succeeds in being funny. But there could be more depth to even a show like South Park, rich meaning and depth, and it could take you places, and it could open your mind.
Right, because they only develop the characters to a point. And I see this across almost all platforms, the characters, the story, the games only gets developed to the point, to a point.
Very one-dimensional.
And I think it's really only as deep as the creator themselves has gone.
Well, is willing to go with the character.
Is willing to go. Right.
And it's about, ultimately, an intimate relationship with their characters. And really, their willingness to surrender their characters to life itself, rather than control their characters to keep them a certain way.
I remember feeling that way too about the Harry Potter series.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling's infamous mistake.
Many of us in the millennial generation and even younger now are so invested in that story of Harry, and I thought Hermione, I think a lot of people thought there was going to be like a love interest there. It definitely seemed like it.
And J.K. Rowling did mention that, she made a mistake there, and
she took pity on Ron, and her original idea was, instead of Ron's twin brother dying, it was supposed to be Ron that died, because his purpose was complete,
Yeah.
But she took pity on Ron.
Couldn't let go of Ron,
and so his purpose was now to be Hermione's husband. Basically, and play out that adventure, right?
Not a very interesting adventure.
No, when from where we sit, like we can see the twin flame signs between Harry and Hermione, like the entire time. And and to put Harry with Jenny, it was all settling. Settling,
If you could imagine,
she fought against it,
feeling completely satisfied by the stories. Completely satisfied by the games you play, completely satisfied in all ways by the media that you're given. It would enrich life.
It would enrich life.
The media of the new earth will enrich your life dramatically. A story will change your life forever. A video game you play will uplift you intensely. It will bring you into new realms of play with people from all over the world, and you'll feel camaraderie instead of anger and rage. You ever notice that? Like, lots of people play video games, But lots of people tend to rage in video games, tends to make them angry.
Or we like associate like rage and anger with like video gamers and being very like isolated and kind of like the dorky guy. You know.
And the sports will be more about the game itself, more about the spirit of play and fun.
I love that.
And joy. And the athletes of the New Earth will understand that those things, play and joy and fun, are actually the source of their strength rather than whatever it is they think the source of their strength is now. And whatever it is they think that is what makes them good.
What makes them win. Yeah.
Rather than focusing on winning first, sports will be focused on having the highest level of fun and joy and intensity and passion, and those will naturally result in the win. They'll understand that the win is a result of play and fun, not a result of focusing on winning.
Yeah, we can so clearly see that like when we watch the gymnastic like world championships this past summer, like Simone Biles, and you can really see the psychology because you're just dealing with one athlete.
Right.
You can really see like the psychology of them throughout their performance and how they think and feel and like why they do what they do, where it comes from.
Confidence is an inside-out thing, and confidence results in great performance, not the other way around. So, we covered pretty much everything. That we wanted to cover here.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, art and media, these things should be a rich, compelling.
You should want to turn the news on.
Oh, we're not talking about news in this one.
Oh, sorry, wrong.
Media.
Wrong video. We'll get to that one.
We actually already talked about government and politics.
Did we talk about the news? Really?
Government and politics.
I thought the news was under this category. Okay.
The news would be the same, right? It would be wonderful.
Yeah.
In the New Earth, media will be compelling, and it will change your life in wonderful ways. Whether you're engaging in it personally and creating it and being a part of that reality, or you're simply observing and receiving it as a consumer. It will be a wonderful, divine experience on the New Earth. And from our perspective, we're already seeing bits of that coming to be, and Shirley and I are part of bringing that, to be, very intimately.
I find like if I want the experience of like a perfect story, I have to go back to Shakespeare. Or even, authors who were directly inspired by Shakespeare, like Jane Austen, did a lot like Pride and Prejudice, or Charles Dickens, like a lot of
classics.
Like, the classics, like they followed that example. Like it's okay to have a freaking happy ending. My God, like why does it have to be so hard to have a happy ending? Free of like emotional and psychological abuse to the reader or to the viewer. Like
you don't have to pay for a happy ending. The story was payment for the happy ending.
Exactly.
It should always result in a healthy ending.
And it's never boring. Like even even Shakespeare, who wrote tragedies, the tragedies themselves like weren't the tragedy that you like Romeo and Juliet dying. Beautiful twin flame lovers. You're thinking, my God, that's a tragedy. But to be honest, it was a happy ending because they got to be together in the end.
The real tragedy was that they weren't accepted by their families in being together.
That was the tragedy. And so they had to leave their families. And yeah, kind of a brutal way. I mean, but you have to think of the time.
Shakespearean way.
It's Shakespeare,
It's dramatic.
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's made for the stage. But I mean, it wasn't like a story that made me feel bad. Like I felt really good,
Yeah, that's what Shakespeare can do to you if you really understand what's happening.
There's lessons, there's love in it. Like there's a real like divine consciousness within those stories, and those are the stories that need to really come back and continue and grow upon.
And you can already see people like Shakespeare and Mozart who have come long ago, and they've planted the seeds for this perfect media, this perfect music, this perfect work to come through. And it speaks to you, it changes you. Look at people who get very intimate with Shakespeare's work, or they follow Mozart's work. It changes you, and in a very intimate and divine way, and it's a really good thing. So as we continue to bring the New Earth forward, as we continue to bring more people into Harmonious Union, just like you, normal people, just like you, who just love their twin flame so much.
It's very normal.
That's enough.
It's enough.
And twin flame love is very normal, and not being with your twin flame, not being with your perfect partner is very, very abnormal. And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming video about divorce.
Ooh, that's a juicy one.
Yeah, really looking forward to talking about that.
We've been wanting to talk about divorce for a while, and we're not talking about like twin flames divorcing, just divorce in general. And so we're really looking forward to talking about that. I'm passionate about it.
So thank you so much for joining us in this video. We'll see you in the next video in the series.
All right, we'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.